Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a fascinating and intense story where acts of pure compassion, healing people, didn't lead to parades and celebrations. Nope. Instead, they lit the fuse on a deadly conflict. Let's get into it.
Just think about that question for a second. Could doing something genuinely kind for someone actually trigger a conspiracy to have you killed? It sounds like something out of a thriller novel, right? But as we're about to see, the answer in the story is a shocking and very definite yes.
All right, so let's set the scene. Our story kicks off in Jerusalem, right in the middle of a massive religious feast. The city is just buzzing with people, you can feel the tension in the air, and the stage is perfectly set for a huge confrontation.
So you're probably wondering, what's the big deal? Why would healing someone ever be controversial? Well, it all boiled down to the Sabbath. For the religious authorities at the time, the Sabbath was the sacred day of rest, and their interpretation of the law was, let's just say, incredibly strict. Any action that could be considered work was absolutely forbidden. And for them, believe it or not, the very act of healing someone fell under that category of work.
This brings us to a place called the Pool of Bethesda. According to the Gospel of John, Jesus sees a man there who has been sick for, get this, 38 long years. He heals him, an absolute miracle. But because he did it on the Sabbath, the authorities didn't see a miracle at all. They saw a crime being committed right in front of them. So when he's confronted, Jesus doesn't back down or apologize. He actually doubles down with this really stunning claim. He's basically saying, God doesn't stop doing good on the Sabbath, so why should I? Now, this wasn't just about breaking a rule anymore. This was a direct claim to divine authority, and that just threw gasoline on the fire.
And to back up this incredible claim, he basically presents a legal case. He calls on 4 witnesses to vouch for his authority: John the Baptist, his own miracles, God the Father, and even the sacred scriptures of Moses. It's a really powerful defense aimed squarely at his accusers.
But the fight doesn't stop in Jerusalem. Not even close. The conflict actually follows him to Galilee, and this is where things really start to build, as Jesus goes on to challenge the Sabbath laws 2 more times in very public ways.
So next, we're in a wheat field. His disciples are hungry, and they start picking some heads of grain to eat. Seems pretty minor, right? Well, not to his critics. To them, this was reaping. It was work. But Jesus defends his disciples by bringing up a famous story about King David, who also broke a religious law when his men were in need. He's making a really powerful point that human need can sometimes outweigh rigid rules.
And this right here, this comparison really gets to the heart of the entire conflict. On one side, we've got the strict black and white rule, no work, period. But on the other side, Jesus poses this challenging moral question: is it better to do good on this day or to do evil? He's trying to shift their focus from blind legalism to moral purpose.
Then he follows that up with this absolute bombshell of a statement. He's not just saying the rule can be bent or reinterpreted, he is claiming to have authority over the rule itself. Now for his opponents, this was just an unforgivable escalation.
The final Sabbath showdown happens inside a synagogue. His critics are there, they're watching him, just waiting to catch him. He sees a man with a withered hand and he knows they're testing him. And what does he do? He heals him anyway, right in front of all of them. The Gospels note that he grieves over their hardness of heart. He's frustrated and saddened by their inability to see the simple compassion in the act.
And this was the turning point. This was the last straw. The debates are over, the public arguments clearly aren't working, so now the opposition moves from open criticism to a secret, dark plot. And look at how clear the fallout is across the different accounts. It's striking. Matthew says the Pharisees plotted against him, how to destroy him. Mark says they immediately held counsel with the Herodians against him, how to destroy him. And John just says they were seeking all the more to kill him. There's absolutely no ambiguity here. This was the moment the conspiracy began.
So, just to be crystal clear, the direct result of these 3 acts of compassion was the formation of an official alliance between 2 groups that were normally bitter rivals, the religious Pharisees and the political Herodians. And they came together with one single objective: to eliminate Jesus. Okay, so there's a death plot against you. What's your next move? You'd probably think the smart thing to do is go into hiding, right? Lay low. But according to our source material, Jesus does the exact opposite. He escalates his public ministry.
Instead of retreating, he withdraws to the sea, where huge crowds follow him, and he heals them. He then formalizes his whole movement by appointing the 12 apostles, and then he delivers his most famous teaching ever, the Sermon on the Mount. His response to a threat was basically to build and to organize.
And the miracles become even more incredible. He heals the servant of a Roman centurion, a Gentile, a total outsider, without even seeing him. And then he does something truly unprecedented, something that would have sent shockwaves through the region.
In a town called Nain, he comes across a funeral procession for a widow's only son. I mean, just imagine the sorrow. He stops the procession and he brings the young man back to life. This is the first time an event like this is recorded in the Gospels, and you can be sure that the news of this spread everywhere, and it even reached the ears of John the Baptist, who was locked away in prison.
And that's where this whole intense series of events leads us. John the Baptist, the man who first introduced Jesus' ministry, is hearing all these unbelievable stories from his prison cell, the healings, the teachings, and now raising someone from the dead, and he needs to know for sure what's going on.
So he sends his own followers to go and find Jesus. They travel with one single, crucial question that just hangs over this entire narrative, a question prompted by everything we've just seen unfold.
And there it is. Are you the coming one? After all the controversy, all the miracles, and now a death plot, even his own herald, the one who announced his arrival, is asking, are you really the one we've all been waiting for? It's the ultimate question, fueled by actions that inspired both incredible devotion and a lethal conspiracy. And that's a powerful thought to end on.